Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, as you may imagine, yesterday the most reports that I got were from folks just digging, poking at me, because I couldn't hunt yesterday. Yesterday was the opening day of ducks, and at least in Zone 1, I haven't checked on Zone 2. I believe Zone 2 also opened over there at the same time. Anyway, very sporadic. I got reports from 4 or 5 different regions of our area, and it was all basically the same thing. A little interesting-ish in the morning, and then completely died off. So pretty normal for this time of year, right? It being the opening day. Not a lot of water in a number of places. A number of places that should have had water, but that's a whole other discussion. But in the end, yeah, typical opening for the state, I guess. Just no real good reports. Heard of some folks sounding like they were doing more shooting than others. But in the end, kind of a slow opener. Still wished I would have been out there. My season won't start until, looks like Tuesday. Maybe if I force it, maybe Monday or tomorrow. But in the end, we got a lot of options out there, right? You could be chasing deer up in Washington right now. Apparently their opener was up there yesterday for deer. Lots of options that are out there. Send those photos in. We'd love to be able to show you off. And if you have reports, obviously, we'd love to be able to help out any way that we can with that as well. But from the fishing side of things, the most interesting report that I got yesterday was still, and I shouldn't say still, it's the middle of October. Got a long ways to go for the B run of silvers moving their way through the Columbia. But above Bonneville, I mentioned it briefly yesterday with those numbers still going over Bonneville. There's some decent fishing up there. As far up as you really are going to be targeting them, I guess, click that. Been pretty interesting. And then, of course, in the main stem below Bonneville, folks that are targeting silver specifically yesterday was a halfway decent day. At least the 2 different guys that I talked to that were out there did pretty good. So, I mean, you still have some really good options. Of course, really, the big story is going to be over on the coast for fall Chinook, bay fishing, tidewater areas right now, until we get some sort of big shot of rain, and I mean a real fresh hit, a real shot of rain, a couple of inches along the coast. Things really aren't going to change there. It's going to be a bay tidewater type fishery. So if you're going to be heading that way, make sure you pay attention to our upcoming interview with Ted Tufel. That should give some decent insight on what's going to happen the next handful of days up and down the coast, really. But let's take a look at fish counts, see if anything changed. Obviously, the Willamette didn't update yesterday. Didn't get any reports from there yesterday, but it would be interesting to know exactly what's going on here. But it's all done by hand, literally, manually. So it sometimes takes time. Over at Bonneville, numbers for fall Chinook, you know, they're just totally normal, just dropping off. Same thing with silvers, very, very close. I looked at it this morning. It is below the 10-year as it stands, of course, but as well as last year. So, you know, still some great options, in particular above Bonneville. But there's still fish below it because there was some decent catches yesterday. For, again, the small sample size that I got was a decent day. So in the end, you got great options that are here locally. And watching river levels is going to be something to really be doing here as we go through the remainder of October into November, of course. Hopefully, there'll be a big change at some point in time. Willamette, nothing too interesting there. Columbia, I would assume to be the same thing other than 4-foot swings. Jeez. Man. Playing the tides right now for areas that I might spend my time currently. Holy moly. Anyway, that's another story. Bonneville Dam's been pretty consistent, not doing anything crazy other than Friday last week. That was interesting. They did change the forecast a little bit. It went up a little bit from yesterday's forecast on my home river. Still not enough to do a lot, but certainly some options there. Questions have been asked about chasing silvers on the Clack in particular. They're absolutely there. They just are a lockjawed species when they're in that river. So you got to be really persistent, and you know, that early time in the morning, even late evening, you know, are times that you might be a little bit more productive. Along the coast, all these rivers are going to get a little shot of some scent. So this upcoming week in some of the tidewater areas and bays could be interesting. I mean, obviously it's not going to really put any water into the tributaries where you're going to take the drift boat out or power boat into the lower sections of some systems, whatever they might be. But some of them that don't necessarily need that big shot of water, that scent will bring fish out of the ocean and into those tidewater areas. So this could be a very interesting week if you're going to be heading down that way to go target them. Procure, don't forget to send Jason at procure.com an email. I don't know why I had such a hard time with that. It's slanted towards Steelhead, but make sure you do so and let them know you saw it here on Outdoor GPS. Well, I guess it's the only place you're going to see it. But you might have that chance to win that prize pack. All right, let's check in with Peyton Major and find out what this weather is going to do. Any changes? I'm hoping that your forecast from yesterday maybe got a little bit wetter and a little bit cooler. Is that the case?
Not much has changed, Owen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say. Light rain today. I mean, I'll show you radar. It's active out there. This is probably the most widespread rain I've seen in months, which is great. So almost every single person west of the Cascades experienced some kind of showers, if not even some steadier, heavier rain. It's not going to get much worse than this. We just see this plume of moisture sitting here, taking its time, passing through most of the daylight hours. And yes, I even pulled up winter radar because we got some snow in the Cascades. So this first low, very slow to exit, but it's finally out of here. This is now a secondary system we've been tracking. It's moving a lot faster and has some more strength with it. So whatever rain you got yesterday, double it, and that's probably what we're going to see today. This is our second stronger system that's going to pass actually down to our south. Therefore, we're not going to see much impacts of this beyond Monday morning. So look at a day at a glance, 54, coolest October day so far. Rain chances remain above 70% through 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, and then a little showery this evening. This is what that looks like. This is now 1 p.m. all the way through about 5, starting to see the back end of that system, and then really just showery through the first part of Monday and blue skies by the afternoon. That'll be nice. A few snowflakes as well. Okay, severe thunderstorm outlook, little sliver of most of the coast and coast range, maybe a little bit of the metro could see that today. It's low. Basically, if there's a random sun break, that's where we'll see that. Winter weather alert is also, advisory is active for the Cascade range. Expecting a couple inches, but if you're worried about the passes, just slushy there. We do have high pressure building in the second part of the week, and so that will definitely help us out here, but we're really just going to see that low start to retreat, and therefore more sunshine is on the way. Tuesday, Wednesday going to be our warmest and sunniest days. Keep in mind those lows are going to drop into the 40s. If you are in the upper Hood River Valley, you've been approaching freezing several days this week, and I think Tuesday morning you may even drop below that point, so there's a freeze watch active for that time, and then a little showery Thursday, Friday. Now, Owen, I don't think Thursday, Friday it's going to be as wet as we're going to get today, so today is probably the wettest for the next 7 days, but we'll see how the end of the week develops.
Yeah, a couple of warm days. That's okay, I guess. As always, we appreciate the insight, Peyton. Have a great week, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday. Dang it. You ever hunted ducks when it's 70 degrees? It's no fun because usually birds don't move around. Although I'm going to find them one way or the other.